I wanted to start that way so we could acknowledge that this is not some theoretical conversation, that these are experiences that are happening every day, and that it is tied to decisions that are made and frankly that are not made every single day. And that what is most uncomfortable about it is that we're complicit. We are complicit. If you are in this room, then you benefited from the system and the way that it operates today. I benefited from the fact that I was a light-skinned, green-eyed, well-spoken boy, and it gave me access to other opportunities that many of my friends didn't have. My parents made a little bit more money and had a little bit more information, and so I had an educational opportunity that most of my friends did not have. And so I was able to go to very different kinds of colleges and have a very different life experience. Like, that is privilege. And everyone in this room benefits from a system that is designed, is designed around a belief in scarcity and a bell curve of some people who have it and some people who don't. It is a system that has meant pathways to opportunity, but it is fundamentally about the distribution and redistribution of power. Now, I have a very specific definition that I want to use for power in this conversation as we engage with the panel and for us to think about for the rest of the day, because it's a very, very simple thing. If you can create and make choices for yourself and others, viable choices, you have power. The more choices you can make for yourself and for others, the more power you have. Now, by definition, this is an uncomfortable conversation. It's an uncomfortable conversation because a lot of us don't like to acknowledge the power that we have and what it means that we are complicit in this work. Heck, even in my own house, like I like to think my kids do what I want them to do and we have a great relationship because I'm such a great dad. But in the end, I know the Xbox is ultimately the decider. Right? My ability to control that thing is a big deal. But very similarly, we make decisions. We have a system that creates choices and eliminates choices daily. And when we do our work, the way we do our work decides whether we are perpetuating that systemic inequity or doing something about it. Now, Rebecca said very clearly, like, we have one of the most privileged jobs that there is. Most of us work in this room in private philanthropy, meaning your strategy gets to be your strategy. It's hopefully sensitive to what the needs of your beneficiaries are, but it doesn't have to be. If something comes along that seems like a good idea and it might change lives, but it doesn't happen to be on your strategy, you can decide not to do it. If your benefactor decides that they have, or your board decides they have new interest, they can change it whether the result has been achieved or not. If you have high net worth individuals that you represent, they can decide that something is inconvenient because it's inconsistent with their personal brands. You as a staff member or a leader even can let your personal interests and relationships influence who you decide to give money to and who you don't, and often do, whether you acknowledge it or not. Like, these are the power structures in which we operate. We decide who gets money for what, for how long, to achieve what goals, and what consequences or not there are for people who don't achieve them. We can decide Even if an educational option is going to be good for a kid that, I don't like schools like that. Whatever that happens to be today. This is not about blame. This is about reality. So the reason I frame it this way is because, this is Grantmakers for education. And you're having a conversation about equity. So my assumption is that you're here to figure out how you do something fantastic to really change the game in education. And that part of your aspiration is that not only does it get better, but it gets more equitable. And in fact, maybe even we can shoot for not just equity, but equality. But it's not going to happen by accident. So I'm going to talk about that.